I absolutely love my studio. It's almost there, it's almost perfect. But there are a few little things I just want to tweak, a few little things I just want to change before I kind of, you know that this is nerdvana for a digital artist. For me, it's the fine little details now. It's just cable tidying and, backing up my systems and getting a few final gadgets that will just make this absolutely perfect. All my major stuff's in place. I mean, obviously there's always new tech coming out that I want, that you want, and that I will keep you informed about. I'm going to ramp that up quite a bit. Definitely developing my YouTube channel a bit more. But for now, I just want to show you what I'm going to do to make this studio even better. So stick with me. So right away here, you can see part of the problem with my studio is all these messy cables. And what I want to really do here is get these tidied up and, kind of put away as much as possible. Now I've got a lot of plans to do with hardware storage and drive storage that I'm going to implement over the next month or so. But in the meantime, a lot of what I can do is, I've got some other big plans and I'm going to show you those today. And they include the Dell TB16 Dock, which works brilliantly with my Dell Precision 5520 laptop that I'm using. And I got that to go with the Dell Canvas. And also I'm using the Ergotron arm and notebook tray, which is fully awesome. It's the best kind of laptop stand going because it brings the laptop up to a good ergonomic height for your eyes, so the screen's at the right height, and you can keep moving it about as much as you move about, which is the best thing ergonomically for you. So if you stand, you can raise it to a better height, if you sit down, and so on, and you can move it around, and you can adjust the keyboard to a nice angle so you can type no matter where you are at your desk, or you can just move the entire laptop away to create some more space on your desk. All of this is great, but also what I can do with the Ergotron as well is I can get rid of all those messy wires that come trailing onto my desk from out of that pit of despair that's going on there. All of these things together, the Dell TB16 Dock, the Ergotron arm that I've got with the Ergotron notebook tray, and also the Ergotron Thin client mount as well that I'm going to be showing you. These things all combine make possibly the greatest kind of laptop stand that any creative, any digital artist, or anyone in general, to be honest, I could see plenty of gamers, other creatives, photographers, musicians, anybody who just cares about their workspace, I could see being interested in this. So if you like the sound of that, yeah, keep watching. So this is what I wanted to show you. No, don't worry, it's not a tiny Dell canvas, although some of you were interested in that, which I thought was, yeah, I didn't expect, but yeah, I found that really a very interesting thing to hear from you guys, and I did pass that along. This is the Dell TB16 Dock. Basically, you can plug this into something like a Dell laptop, a Dell computer. I think you can plug these into other machines, but check the compatibility on that. So, inside the box, the dock itself, an array of tiny leaflets. Very interesting. A large adapter, and what is commonly referred to as a kettle lead, because it's the same kind of lead that goes in your kettle, and then the wall socket, and that's it. First things first, that's the power adapter for this thing. There's a reason the power adapter is so large, and I'll spin back to that. The kettle lead is just what goes in the other end of the power adapter, so basically it's all a power adapter. So this is it. It's about the size of an old kind of first generation Mac Mini. Looks absolutely gorgeous. Power button on top in the corner there. There's two USB 3 ports, an indicator light, and a normal 3.5mm headphone jack. If you turn it over to the back, you'll see a VGA port, a full-size HDMI port, a Mini-DisplayPort, as well as a full-size DisplayPort. Two USB 2 ports, another USB 3 port, as well as a Thunderbolt 3 USB-C port, and of course an Ethernet RJ45 port with LEDs, and there's a speaker port, as well as your obvious 7.4mm DC power socket right there, so you can plug the whole thing in to that very hefty and sturdy looking power supply. On the side there's a Kensington lock slot, and on the other side there is your USB-C Thunderbolt 3 0.5 meter cable that will plug into your Dell laptop. How cool is that? It's not just cool, it's practical. That's what that is. Another thing that I have here, as well as the Dell TB16 Thunderbolt 3 dock, is this innocuous box. Well, okay, not so innocuous box. Yeah, I know that doesn't make it any clearer whatsoever, does it? But you know that I have my Dell Precision 5520 mounted on an Ergotron arm? Well, this is another Ergotron spectacular piece that is going to go onto that Ergotron arm and then hold my new Dell TB16. So the whole thing is going to be mounted on the Ergotron arm, thus making it cleaner and nicer and more workspace-tastic. So we have our Dell TB16 dock and we have our Ergotron client mount. All we have to do now is pop this onto my Ergotron arm and then pop this into it. Okay, there's maybe a touch more than that to it, but you get what I mean. Crack on! Ergotron Dell! Yeah, maybe leave that bit out of the edit. So our first job is to take these two main brackets and attach some rubber feet from our big bag of goodies here. Straightforward. Now remember that this isn't built specifically for the Dell TBS, but it just happens to be the perfect size. But you could use it for whatever you wanted to. I've got it in white, it also comes in black. In future, if I want to change my Ergotron arm, I change it to white because my studio is largely white. Ergotron now do arms in white, which they didn't previously before, but yeah, I might go for white arms in the future. So now the next step is for me to take this laptop tray off of this Ergotron LX arm. It's actually quite easy, there's just 4 screws around the back. So simply take my screwdriver and just undo these screws. So now we have the Ergotron arm with nothing on it. We're going to take this little cord here, which is a simple clip like you'd find any rucksack, etc. It's just not been tied yet. We're just going to kind of hold this in place for a second like that. You could even just loop it round the back like so. Then we're just going to take the piece here. This is the piece with the screws already in the bottom, and we're just going to lay it over the top, making sure that it's not twisted up. Then we just start popping in the screws. And here is the Dell TB16. Doesn't that look beautiful? I'm putting it this way around, so I have the front ports there, I have the vent at the top with the cable, and on the other side are all the other ports. On the bottom there's another vent and a lock, but I won't be using that lock. I have to have something on the bottom. Now I can use this strap I'm going to leave it a little loose for now. The next step, step 4, is to attach this bracket to the monitor. But in our case, we're attaching it back to the keyboard tray. That way, the circle of life is completed. Then I'm going to take my other bracket with the laptop tray and slide that onto the 2 screws at the bottom there. Once it's held firmly in place, I can take these and just screw those right on there. So that's the entire physical installation of the Ergotron Thin Client Mount. The only thing left to do is plug in the laptop, and the client mount needs to be plugged in via the adapter. So I'm here under the desk, and as you can see, it's a jumble of wires. This is a lot neater than it used to be, but at the moment I've unplugged a few things and I'm plugging in the adapter for the TB16. And yeah, I'm just going through, funneling in a few things. I'm handheld at the moment. You can see the hole up there that I actually cut into my desk. Bit of a mess doing that, but I've got myself this fancy new, very sturdy plug adapter too. Went for a nice good one there that you can see. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plug adapter. This is absolutely awesome. It's huge. It's one of the, not one of the more expensive ones, but one of, I'd say, the medium range ones. The good thing is this has got clips on the back, so you can mount it on a wall, or screw it down somewhere basically. And that's how I've got this mounted here, just with 2 screws. This is obviously British plug sockets, but you can get this in European and American, and I think lots of others. I've got an adapter, you can just see, mounted on here with some little wire clips. There's a lot of wires here with these Velcro cable ties. They're absolutely great because you can take them on and off and do them up, and I absolutely love them. They're better than normal cable ties, which you have to cut every time. These USB extension cords are absolutely brilliant. If your USB cable is just not long enough, but make sure you get the ones that are powered to the right percentage, otherwise you'll really be undercutting the device you're trying to use. For example, if this is a hard drive that needs a USB 3 cable and you put a USB 2 extension on it, well, you're really lowering the performance of your hard drive. I've also attached this plastic tubing here so you don't see the cables running down. That's also along the skirting board there, so that you don't see the extension cord running to the plug sockets. Under the desk is a lot of hard work. I also have this that I have to fit. So I've actually been under here for a while now, and as you can see, I've got things all neat and tidy. It's all set up, all the cables are cable tied, and yeah, everything is pretty much done under here for the meantime. Whew, it's actually been a couple of hours since I started, but yeah, things are now nice and tidy. They could be a little tidier, but I have a few other jobs to do, which will be in another couple of videos. This includes sorting out my hard drives, etc, etc. There's the Dell Canvas, which I have to mount on an Ergotron. and that means revisiting these cable lines as well. So I've left things a little loose down here. That's why things aren't exactly as tidy as they can be, but for most people this is probably good enough. But for me, I'd like them to be a little tidier, but for right now this is good enough. I'm going to come back to this when I've put all the other cables in place and just neaten it up a bit more. Like I say, for most people this is probably good enough though, so for right now we'll leave it here. What you're seeing here is a silver flexi hose, which is basically holding the cables for my Cintiq 27QHD. So when I move that around on my Ergotron, the cables still have some flex to them. That's held in place on the desk with some little picture hooks there, some adhesive picture hooks. That way, yeah, the cables can move freely, but they're still, you know, not messy at the back of my desk. This black cable you can see here is an audio extension lead. That runs all the way from this side of my desk all the way along and round to the front of my desk. So if I'm sat over at my Cintiq and I want to plug in some headphones, then I can listen to some music or an audiobook late at night without disturbing anybody and carry on working, which is absolutely great. Or if I want to edit a YouTube video, I can do that as well. And that's held in place by these small white adhesive clips and some white cable ties. I'll leave those loose as well, so that if I want to take this off at any time, it's easier to slip some scissors in and snip those off. If you do these up too tight, you'll never get the scissors or a knife in there. So make sure to always leave cable ties a little loose. That's also why I prefer the Velcro cable ties. So my random question today is, how weird are you about cable management? Do you lie awake at night thinking of new and interesting ways to, you know, make your studio neater and tidier and, you know, combine cables and like me? Or do you, you know, just think, I'll be fine back there, who really cares? You know, not give it a second thought. Do you go on eBay and buy another cable just because the one that came with it wasn't the right colour for your setup? I've never done that before. Yeah, I kind of have. Let me know your thoughts. Is it something that really bothers you? Am I the only one that's weird about these things? Comment below. Well, I'm happy with that. I think that actually is a pretty great job. It's all mounted behind there nice and neatly. Yeah, I've nothing more to say about that. It's turned out beautifully. There is a lot less cables in the side there. It's all mounted. I can shove this about all around my desk, and yeah, works beautifully, cleanly, wonderfully. I am totally happy with how that turned out. The cables under my desk now, there's a lot less of them. It's tidier. This took me a fair few hours, but it was worth it. And remember, this is only a small part of my larger overall plan for the studio. So if you want to see how it's all going to pan out, stick with me. I'll see you soon. Well, thanks for watching. Be sure to comment, like, and even subscribe to my channel, LAWRENCEcanDRAW. And if you really did like what you saw here, you can see more of it on my website, LAWRENCEman.co.uk. I'll see you next time.